Myself, Dr. Bhagwan Lal Kalal, Assistant Professor from Department of Chemistry, IPS Academy, Indore. Today we are going to determine the caffeine content in soft drink by spectrophotometrically. Here is the objective of our experiment, that is determination of caffeine content in soft drink by spectrophotometer. For this experiment we require a spectrophotometer, quartz cuvette, caffeine standards, degas soft drink samples, methylene chloride, separating funnel, element flask with stoppers, beaker and tissue papers. Soft drink. You all are very well known about with the soft drinks. It is a very common beverage and taken in India, all part of India as well as all over the world. What are the main ingredients in soft drink? Most of the soft drink contain carbonated water, sugar and caffeine. Other things include sweeteners, carbon dioxide, acidulants, flavoring agent, coloring agent, preservative and oxidants. Caffeine. Here it is the chemical structure of caffeine. Caffeine is chemically nominated as 3,7-dihydro-1,3,7-trimethyl-1H purine 2,6-dione. It is also categorized as a alkaloid. Why the soda makers add the caffeine into soft drink? The reason is that caffeine is slightly physiologically addictive substance. It wake up you and makes you alert. It create an association between the good feeling and the soda that contain the caffeine. Basically, your brain and body associate the soda with drug it contain. Here the drug is caffeine. Now the theory of the experiment. Here we are going to measure the caffeine in soda. We are going to measure caffeine spectrophotometrically. Spectrophotometer as an instrument that absorbs the light that passes through a liquid sample. The necessary requirement for the measurement is that the sample should absorb light in range 200 to 700 nanometer. Common organic molecule that contain conjugated double bond, as caffeine also contained the conjugated double bond. It absorbs light of wavelength 260 nanometer. For measurement purpose, first a series of caffeine standards are analyzed and Beer-Lambert law is applied to prepare a plot, and then caffeine content in unknown sample determined from the plot. In the experiment, we assume that no other substance absorbs the wavelength of 260 nanometer. Now let know the Beer-Lambert law. What is Beer-Lambert law? Beer law states that absorption of light by a liquid media is proportional to the path length of the absorbing media and the concentration of the liquid. Mathematically, it is denoted as A equal to log I0 upon IT equal to epsilon CL, where A is the absorbance. Here A is the absorbance or it is also termed as optical density. Epsilon is molar absorptive coefficient, unit is per mole per centimeter. C is the concentration of the absorbing media in unit mole per liter or gram per liter. T is the transmittance. Transmittance is the light that transmit after passing through the absorbing media. Here you can see the phenomena of light absorption by a liquid sample. You can see that light of I0 intensity is strike to the sample. The absorbing molecule that contained by the sample is absorbed some part of this incident radiation, and remaining unabsorbed radiation is passed through the solution, and this transmitted radiation is measured by any detector. For the experiment we are going to perform, this experiment on a systronic instrument, that is a spectrophotometer 118. Here is the complete, this is the complete instrument. You can see different part of this instrument. Here is the a chamber or a cell that where we place the sample cuvette to determine the absorption of, to determine the concentration of caffeine or other material. Here is a knob. You can see by switching this knob we can select the source, either UV source or visible light source. Here it is a knob. By pushing or pulling it, we can put appropriate sample in front of light source. Here is the main control unit of the instrument. You can see a display here. Here we can read the absorptions or transmittance, that is the light absorbed by the absorbing media or light transmitted by the absorbing media. Here you can see, okay, we are now going to another image. This is the zoom image of the control panel. Here is the display. It shows the absorption or transmittance. Here you can see 3 push button. One is for percentage transmittance. By pushing this knob, we can read the light transmitted through the sample. By pushing absorption knob, absorption push button, we can measure the absorbance, and by concentration push button we can see here the concentration. Here different knobs. Set 0 is initially used to adjust the reading 0 of the instrument. Due to voltage fluctuation, the instrument does not show 0 reading. To standardize it, we can use initially set 0 knob. Here another 2 knob, that is a coarse set and a fine set. By coarse set we can fluctuate the display reading by a larger proportion, and by fine tuning we can adjust the display reading by a lower amount. Here again, to select a proper source, 2 push buttons are given on the control panel. One is UV push button that select the UV light source, and another one is visible push button that select the visible light source. In the right there is a panel given. By using this we can manually enter the wavelength of desired measurement. In other words, by this panel we can give the desired wavelength to the instrument. To use it, first push the clear CLR button. It will clear the display reading. Now your instrument is ready to take any wavelength. Then as we know that we are going to measure the caffeine on wavelength 260 nanometer. So to set the instrument 260 nanometer, first we clear the display and manually enter 2600 and thereafter push the enter button. Instrument will take the 260 nanometer wavelength. This is another knob. I have already stated about it. It is to select a proper source. For selecting UV region, we have to direct this knob on this side, okay, and to visible region, for selecting UV light you have to direct this knob on this side. By on this side we can select any wavelength in range 200 to 340 nanometer. On turning this knob on another side, that is visible side, we can select any wavelength in range 340 to 700 nanometer. This picture show the sample cell holder chamber. You can see a filter selector here. The filter selector currently set on filter number 2. What is it mean? You can see that a table just below the cover, here given filter number and associated wavelength in front of it. Filter number 1 does not allow to pass any light from it. Filter number 2 allows the passage of light of wavelength 200 to 340 nanometer. Filter number 3 allow the passage of light of wavelength 340 to 380 nanometer. Filter number 4 allow the passage of light of wavelength 380 to 460 nanometer. Filter number 5 allows the passage of light of wavelength 460 to 580 nanometer, and filter number 6 allows the light of wavelength 580 nanometer to 1000 nanometer. By selecting this filter, by rotating this wheel, we can select appropriate filter. Here you also can see four sample holder. It means we can simultaneously put 4 cuvette in this chamber and measure the absorbance one by one. This is the another view of this chamber. Here you can see a hole. This hole, your light source is put here. Light passes through the sample. The light passes through this sample holder and enter and strike or pass through the filter in this wheel. Selected instrument for measurement is a single beam spectrophotometer. As you know, or you have read in textbook, that two type of spectrometer are available in market. One is single beam spectrophotometer and other one is double beam spectrometer. The instrument we have selected, that is Systronic 118 spectrophotometer. It is a single beam spectrophotometer. It is a schematic representation of the working of this instrument. At the left, you can see a light source. It can be a tungsten lamp or hydrogen or deuterium lamp. The light generated from this source is collected by a lens. This lens is called collimator. This light are then pass through this light then strike to the on a prism, which split the light into 7 colors, that is VIBGYOR. The light, the wavelength that is just the in front of opening or passage of the slit will pass through this slit and it will then strike to this sample placed in the cuvette. Here you can see that light that is emitting or passing through the prism is of I0 intensity. When it passes through the sample in cuvette, some part of this light is absorbed by this absorbing media and remaining light that is represented by IT is transmitted through the sample. It is the light that is not absorbed by the sample. This light is then struck on the detector that will convert the intensity of the light into an electric signal, which can be read by the digital display meter. This is the another scheme that is for double beam spectrophotometer. Here again you can see at the left a light source, hydrogen lamp or tungsten lamp. Then there is another setup that is known as monochromator. Monochromator is a setup of two slips, in between there is a prism or grating. First the light passes through left slit, that will strike on prism. It will split the light into 7 colors, which then pass through the exit slit. After this, the light is splitted into 2 equal intensity by a beam splitter. These light that is intensity of the light emitting from beam splitter are of equal intensity. Here you can see that both beam are denoted by I0 and I0. It means intensity of both the beam from beam splitter has equal intensity. One beam is passes through the reference cell and other beam is passes through the sample cell. As the reference cell contain only blank solvent, so no light absorbed by this reference cell. So here you can see that light of I0 intensity is striking on reference cell, and emitting light also has intensity that is I0. It shows that there occur no absorbance, whereas the beam that strike on sample cell, here left you can see that the intensity of striking light is I0, and the light that is passed through the sample cell has intensity of I. It has different intensity than striking intensity. Definitely the emitting intensity will have a decreased intensity. After the passage of light from reference and sample, it will allow to fall on a detector which compare both the intensity from reference cell as well as sample cell and compare it and generate a electrical signal which is now recorded on the graph paper in a recorder. This is the overall working of double beam spectrophotometer. Here double beam spectrometer, there is a difference from single beam spectrometer is that the light that is coming through this prism is splitted into two equal half by a beam splitter, and then they are allowed to fall simultaneously on reference cell and on sample cell. Now we are have a look on the procedure for the caffeine measurement. For experimental, we have to first of all prepare a stock solution of caffeine. We are going to prepare 250 ml caffeine of concentration 200 ppm. Now this stock solution is used to prepare different dilution of caffeine. We are going to prepare 50 ml of each dilution. To make a calculation plot, now we are going to prepare dilution of caffeine standard, that is 25 ppm, 50 ppm, 75 ppm and 100 ppm. Now take 1 ml of one of the dilution. First of all, we are going to take 25 ml dilution. Okay, so take 1 ml of this dilution in a separating funnel and add 5 ml of methylene chloride into it, the mixture for 3 to 5 minutes. Hold the separating funnel for some time so that both the layer, that is aqueous layer and methylene chloride layer, get separated. When separation is complete, then separate the methylene chloride layer into a conical flask. As the density of methylene chloride is higher than water, so methylene chloride will remain in lower layer and aqueous layer on upper layer. When you have extract the organic layer, after extracting the organic layer, again add 5 ml methylene chloride into aqueous layer and repeat the procedure, that is checking for 5 minutes and allow to separate the both layer and extract the organic layer into methylene into conical flask. Both the portion of methylene chloride are collected in a single iodine flask. Now we have complete the extraction for 25 ppm diluent. Now we are going to repeat the procedure. We adopted for 25 ml of 25 ppm dilution for another dilution, that is 50 ppm, 75 ppm, 100 ppm and soft drink sample also. So we are now going to repeat the entire extraction step for all other dilution and soft drink sample. After the completion of extraction for all dilution and soft drink, we have to ensure that volume of all the extract should be same. As the dichloromethane is highly volatile, then there is a chances that some of the methylene chloride evaporate, and therefore equal volume are not obtained. So you have to select, you have to use a measuring cylinder and make up the volume of all the extract to same equal volume. That is, you have to ensure the equal volume of all the extract that you have received after extraction step. After that you have to determine the absorption of all dilution. That after the extraction step, you have to determine the absorption of all the extract you have obtained after the extraction step from each dilution and soft drink at 260 nanometer, taking methylene chloride as a blank. So now we are going to in our lab to perform the extraction, and thereafter we will go in our instrument lab to determine the absorption of each extractant and soft drink on UV spectrophotometer. This is the observation table. These observation we have taken from our instrument. We have take 4 concentration of standard 25 ppm, 50 ppm, 75 ppm and 100 ppm. For 25 ppm we have received absorbance 80, for 50 ppm 0.060, for 75 ppm 0.144, for 100 ppm we get absorbance that is 0.214. For unknown soft drink we get the absorbance equal to 0.179. Next we have plot the absorbance, again concentration. On x-axis we have taken the concentration, and on y-axis we have taken absorbance. As you can see that we get almost linear line in concentration range between 25 ppm to 100 ppm. It means in this concentration range Beer-Lambert's law hold good for caffeine. Next in next plot we have determined the concentration of caffeine in soda sample. For that we have selected we have taken the absorbance 0.179 from y-axis, and from which we have determined the concentration of caffeine in our unknown soda sample. We find that for our soda sample the caffeine concentration in this sample is 19 ppm. For calculation, first we have to plot a graph between concentration of caffeine standard and absorbance. Thereafter we plot this concentration this absorbance against concentration. It will provide a calibration graph. From this calibration graph, we determine the concentration of caffeine in caffeine in soda by absorbance of caffeine sample, soda sample. From the graph we have found the concentration of caffeine to be 90 ppm. Precautions you have to take during the experiment, that similar step and similar environment you have to provide each dilution and soda sample as well. You have to repeat the extraction 3 times for each dilution and soda sample, and maintain equal volume at the end of extraction. That is, we have performed the extraction 2 times and then we are diluting it to 50 ml. You have to ensure 15 ml of extractant for each dilution and soda sample as well. Second caution you have to take that is that dichloromethane is highly volatile. Therefore, you have to release the pressure from separating funnel, so that any accident would not happen with separating funnel, as shaking will produce positive pressure in separating funnel. So, you have to release pressure from separating funnel by removing separating flask. That's all. Today we have determined caffeine concentration in soft drink on UV spectrophotometer. Thank you.